And Harry and Meghan's media ambitions in the States rapidly crumbling with that multi-million-dollar Spotify contract cut short, and the Wall Street Journal exposing them for achieving more cancellations and rejections than produced shows. Now, this has prompted a Netflix source to brief today that they will continue to work together on a number of projects with Harry and Meghan, which they may be forced to with the mega money contract running out until 2025. But it could mark the end of the line after that. A Hollywood source has told me Netflix wants out too. They are envious the Spotify exit could come so quickly. The contract with Harry and Meghan hasn't delivered. It's been a nightmare to navigate from start to finish. So esteemed biographer Tom Bauer with me now. And Tom, it almost feels like Harry and Meghan have been rumbled by Hollywood.
Well, absolutely. They seem to be. This week's news has been a disaster for them. It's absolutely extraordinary how last week we thought, well, they haven't got any talent, and what are they going to do? And suddenly the whole of Hollywood is saying they don't have any talent. They've woken up to it. And this week, I think what we're discovering, and I think Hollywood will then follow on as well, is that they're hurtling towards the precipice. I mean, they really are now battling for survival. Brand Sussex has been so damaged this week by all the attacks in America that it's very hard to see how they're going to find an escape.
But you think she's going to become an influencer again and relaunch the
Well,
tea?
what's so interesting is this week I heard this extraordinary story, which I'm sure is true because it came from Harry's lips, that Harry told a friend of his when he was in London recently that Meghan is in touch with Diana. And that Diana is assuring...
Princess Diana,
the mother. And that Meghan is assuring Harry that his mother is absolutely sure that what they're doing is right. And she supports them absolutely in everything they're doing. And Harry told this story to my source in absolute seriousness. He really does believe that Meghan is talking to Diana, his mother. And so...
And she's letting him think that.
Well, clearly.
Meghan's letting Harry think that.
Clearly. I mean, is it an act? Does she really think that she's in touch with Diana beyond the grave? It's absolutely astonishing. But the truth is that you've got these two individuals now, with Harry living a life of complete and utter fantasy and in denial that he actually is a talentless, very uneducated fellow who thinks his future is to ask President Putin whether he suffered from childhood trauma and asking the Pope, what about religion, Mr. Pope? And Meghan, who has kept her silence, who this week was hugely humiliated. No Dior contract, Spotify off as we predicted, Netflix problems as we predicted, where's she going to go? Now she's been called a grifter. It's all very difficult, yet they clearly are on two different planets, and that's what's so interesting.
But it's what Diana would have wanted. That's what he claims. I mean, it's hard to believe Diana would ever have wanted him to treat William in the way that he has, for example.
Absolutely, but he needs reassurance. And Meghan has found the perfect vehicle to reassure him that all is well by telling him that his mother approves of everything that's being done.
Royal author Tom Bauer has delivered a scathing assessment of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's crumbling reputation in the United States, claiming that Brand Sussex is now battling for its very survival. After years of interviews, documentaries, and high-profile deals, the couple's star power appears to be fading fast. So, what went wrong for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and can their brand be saved? When Harry and Meghan left the royal family in 2020, they promised a new chapter: independence, success, and purpose. But according to Tom Bauer, that dream is collapsing. He argues the couple has gone from royal rebels to Hollywood cautionary tale, with their reputation in America suffering a sharp decline. Major deals, like Spotify and Netflix, have stumbled, while public interest in their story has waned. Bauer claims the root of the problem is credibility. He says Americans who once sympathized with Meghan and Harry's struggles now view them as privileged complainers, endlessly playing the victim card.
But isn't it a fascinating contrast what's happened this week, though, Tom? Because you actually have William, and look, some people have criticised his homelessness project because they think it's him veering too much into the political arena. But that is actually certainly a project that Diana would have wholeheartedly supported, and it's actually something practical that isn't about himself.
And it advances the cause. And one of the issues which the Sussexes claimed when they went to California in search of privacy, was that they were going to do good for the world. And all they've really done is a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And in the process of
you
harming
didn't need to
themselves.
be in the royal family to do public service,
Exactly.
according to them.
Exactly.
But they're disproving that, aren't they?
They've done it brilliantly.
Now, you're hearing some interesting developments in terms of Prince Harry's court case versus Mirror Group newspapers.
Yeah, and as I said to you some weeks ago, we're all thinking Harry can't win the case because he hasn't produced any evidence against the Mirror of hacking in any of the 30-odd stories they produced in court. But what was very important today was that the Mirror's KC, their representative, urged the judge not to give more than £500 damages in any of the 30 instances. And what he was really saying was that he realised that the judge is going to find one of the cases against the Mirror Group because no member of the royal family has ever lost in a British court, as we saw with Meghan, which was absolutely outrageous when she got away with it against the Mail on Sunday.
Didn't even go to trial.
No, the judges refused a trial and excused her for giving an inaccurate statement, which we would call a lie. Now, in this case, I don't think the judge is going to allow Harry to be completely humiliated. He'll look for one case, one example, where he can say the Mirror might have been involved in some unauthorised activity. Now, the issue then is how much the damage is. If he only gives 500, the reason why the case he mentioned 500 is because the Mirror has clearly paid into court, which actually reduces to nothing the costs and puts the burden on Harry. But it's exactly as I feared, that actually, in the end, the royals get privileged treatment in the courts.
Well, of course.
The truth suffers.
And it also propels this deranged campaign that he's taking against what I think is freedom of the press in the
Well,
UK.
we hope that the judge will modify the way in which he delivers the verdict, and perhaps still there may be a total vindication. But the trouble is, of course, the Mirror is damaged goods on this issue. But what we're really faced with is that the Sussexes tonight and this week in California are facing so many problems, so many challenges, so much derision, so much mocking of themselves that it's very hard to see how they can sustain their money-making careers for much longer.
Well, indeed. And, of course, a loss versus the Mirror would be utterly catastrophic.
Financially, especially, and in reputational, too.
Well, fascinating stuff. Another Bower bombshell. You've done it again. Tom Bower, top royal biographer. We will speak next week.
Their image as champions of compassion and equality has been overshadowed by accusations of hypocrisy, overexposure, and self-interest. The Sussexes' massive media contracts were supposed to redefine their brand. Instead, critics say their projects lacked focus, more personal grievance than inspiration. Tom Bower warns that without meaningful achievements beyond royal drama, brand Sussex will continue to wither. In the US, the couple faces a new challenge, staying relevant in a crowded celebrity landscape. Unlike their royal peers, Harry and Meghan no longer have institutional support. Their power now depends on public interest and perception. And according to Bower, that interest is fading fast. They've overplayed their hand, he says. Americans are losing patience. Tom Bower's warning is clear. Harry and Meghan's brand, once a global phenomenon, is in serious trouble. If they can't reinvent themselves with sincerity and purpose, brand Sussex may not just be struggling, it may be on the brink of collapse.